My child, I want you to know something before anything else is said. I see the smile, not the one you wore this morning or the one you offered across the room when someone needed reassurance. I mean the one underneath that, the one you've been holding in place for longer than you can quite remember, the one that's become so natural, so practiced, that even you sometimes forget it's covering something. You're still showing up. Every week, every commitment, every moment someone needs you to be steady, you are there. And no one questions it, because why would they? You've never given them a reason to. You answer when called. You serve without complaint. You carry what's handed to you, and somehow you make it look like something you chose freely. And in many ways, you did choose it. That's what makes this so quiet and so complicated, because the weariness you're feeling right now, it didn't come from rebellion. It didn't come from walking away. It came from walking toward again and again, even when your feet were tired. It came from faithfulness itself. And faithfulness, when it goes unseen long enough, starts to feel like a very lonely road. I've watched hearts grow tired like yours, not because they stopped caring, but because they cared so much, for so long, that the caring began to hollow something out. Not the faith, not the love, but the energy behind it, the breath beneath it. You became the person people lean on. Maybe it happened slowly. Maybe you didn't notice until one quiet evening you sat down and felt nothing. Not sadness exactly, not anger, just a kind of flat stillness where something warm used to be. And the hardest part? No one around you suspects it, because you're still smiling, still serving, still present in all the ways that count to everyone watching. But I am not just watching. I am here in the space behind the smile, the space you rarely let anyone into. And what I see there is not what you've been telling yourself it is. You haven't failed, you haven't drifted, you haven't lost something that needs to be found through more effort or more service or more showing up. What I see is someone who has been giving from a very deep place and who hasn't stopped to ask whether anyone has been giving back. And still, you keep coming. That matters to me. It always has. But I want to sit with you here for a moment, not to correct you, just to be honest with you the way someone who loves you completely is allowed to be. There's a particular kind of tired that doesn't come from doing too little. It comes from doing so much for so long that the doing becomes the only language you trust. And somewhere along the way, loving God started to feel less like a relationship and more like a responsibility. Not because you chose that, but because life and people and the quiet accumulation of expectation slowly shaped it into something heavier than it was ever meant to be. You still love, I know that. But something in you, something honest and worn, has started to wonder why the love feels so effortful now. Why worship that used to come easily now feels like something you have to reach for. Why the prayers that once flowed naturally now sometimes feel like words moving through still air. That distance you're sensing, it isn't me pulling away from you. It isn't punishment. It isn't a sign that your faith is failing. It is the sound of someone who has been running a long race on very little rest, wondering why their legs feel heavy. And that question, why do I feel this way when I'm still doing everything right, is one of the most honest questions a tired heart can ask. I don't want you to answer it yet. I just want you to know that I heard it. If this message is finding you in a place you rarely speak about, let me know you're here. You can gently like this video or write a quiet comment so this space can hold you. And if you choose to subscribe or even leave a super thanks, it simply helps this kind of quiet, honest conversation reach another weary heart. No pressure, just presence. Because something in you already knows that what you're carrying has a name, and that naming it, slowly, carefully, without shame, is where something begins to shift. Not a performance shift, not a trying harder shift, something quieter than that. But before we get there, I want to stay here with you a little longer, because there's something else underneath this that deserves to be spoken. something that doesn't get named often enough in the spaces where you've been sitting. There is a pressure that comes with being the dependable one, not a pressure anyone placed on you with intention, not a pressure born from cruelty, but a pressure that grew slowly and silently out of the simple fact that you were always there. You were consistent when others weren't. You were steady when the room needed steadying. And over time, without any formal announcement, you became the one people counted on to hold things together. And you accepted that role, maybe even with some grace. But accepting a role and being sustained inside it are two very different things, because the strong one rarely gets asked how they're doing. Not really. People assume. They see the composure, the reliability, the quiet way you manage what others might unravel over, and they think they're fine. They always are. And so the question doesn't come. And after a while, you stop expecting it to. What happens then is subtle. You begin to pour from a place that isn't being replenished. Not dramatically, not all at once, but steadily, the way a slow leak empties something over time. You show up to serve and find yourself going through motions that used to carry meaning. You offer encouragement you're not sure you have access to yourself. You hold space for other people's doubt while quietly carrying your own somewhere no one can see it. And you tell yourself it's fine, because spiritual people push through, because faith doesn't depend on feelings, because someone has to be strong, and it has always been you. But here is what I want you to sit with. Strength that is never rested is not strength. It is endurance. And endurance without tenderness toward yourself eventually begins to cost something that no amount of showing up can replenish. You were not designed to be a resource. You were designed to be a person, loved, held, tended to. And somewhere in the long faithfulness of always being available for everyone else, the tending that was meant for you got quietly set aside, and you may not have even noticed when it happened. That's the grief of this. Not that you were abandoned, but that the depletion came so gradually, wrapped so neatly inside purpose and love and faithfulness, that by the time you felt the emptiness, you couldn't quite trace it back to a beginning. You just know that something that used to feel full doesn't anymore. And the loneliness of that is particular. It's not the loneliness of being alone in a room. It's the loneliness of being surrounded by community, by purpose, by people who need you, and still feeling unseen in the place that matters most, because being needed is not the same as being known, and you have been needed for a long time. People come to you with their burdens, and you receive them. They come with their questions, and you help carry the weight of the not knowing. They come undone, and you help them find their footing, and you do all of this genuinely, lovingly, while something in your own interior grows quieter and quieter, like a room in the house that no one visits anymore. I have watched this in you, not with disappointment, never with disappointment, with a love that notices what you don't say, what you don't ask for, the way you redirect concern away from yourself before it can land, the way you answer "I'm fine" not as a lie exactly, but as a protection for others. Because if you opened the door to what's really there, you're not sure what would come out, and you are far too responsible to let that become someone else's weight to carry. So you hold it, and you serve, and you smile, and the cup that was meant to overflow keeps being emptied before anyone thinks to ask what's filling it. And in this moment, some hearts may feel led to give through super thanks, not because they have to, but because generosity sometimes flows when someone finally feels understood. If that's you, follow that gentle nudge, only if it's real. There is a weariness that lives in giving without receiving, that is one of the most quietly devastating things a faithful heart can experience. Not because the giving was wrong, but because a heart that pours without being poured into begins slowly to wonder, does anyone see what this is costing me? And beneath that question lives another one you haven't said out loud, perhaps not even to yourself in clear words. But it's there. I know it's there because I know you, not the version you present, but the one that goes quiet at the end of the day when the serving is done and the room is finally still. The fear, not a loud fear, not a dramatic one, but a persistent, low, quiet fear that sounds something like this. If I stop, will I disappoint you? If I slow down, if I step back, if I admit that I am running on very little, will that be the moment I finally let you down? Will the faithfulness that defined me become the unfaithfulness that undoes me? Will you look at the stillness I'm choosing and see it as retreat rather than rest? That fear is more common than you know. I have seen it in so many tired hearts. Hearts that love deeply, serve genuinely, and yet somewhere along the way absorb the quiet belief that their value to me is measured in their output, that my love for them is somehow connected to their capacity to keep going, that rest is a luxury the spiritually serious cannot afford. And so they push, you push, not from arrogance, not from performance, but from a love that got quietly tangled with a fear of falling short. And the two, love and fear, have been walking together in you for so long now that sometimes you can't tell which one is driving. Let me be clear about something. Your exhaustion is not a spiritual failure. It is not evidence of weak faith or a wandering heart. It is what happens when someone who loves genuinely has been taught, slowly and without anyone meaning harm, that slowing down is the same as letting go. It is not. Resting is not retreating. Needing is not failing. And the stillness you're afraid to choose, the pause you keep pushing past because something in you worries it will cost too much. That stillness is not the opposite of faithfulness. Sometimes it is the truest form of it. But I know that knowing this in your mind and feeling it settle into your chest are two very different things. And I'm not asking you to simply decide your way out of this fear. That's not how it works. That's not how I work. What I'm asking is smaller than that. I'm asking you to stay here just a little longer and let me speak to the part of you that is tired of being afraid of the very rest you were made for. Because that part of you, the part that is worn and quiet and hoping someone finally notices, that part has been waiting for this conversation for a long time. And I want you to hear this, not as instruction, not as correction, but as something spoken from the deepest place of knowing you. You do not have to earn your way back to me. You were never far. The spiritual tiredness you've been carrying, the quiet distance you felt, the prayers that felt like they were going nowhere, the worship that felt mechanical, the service that felt hollow, even when you were doing it with love. None of that was distance from me. None of it was evidence that something had gone wrong between us. It was the sound of someone who needed to be held, and there is no shame in that. None at all. I want you to let that settle for a moment, because I know how quickly a tired heart can hear reassurance and immediately move past it, filing it somewhere, nodding at it, and then returning to the weight as though the words didn't quite apply, as though they were meant for someone else who deserved them more. They are for you, right now, in this exact state, with the tiredness still present and the questions still unanswered, and the smile still practiced, and the cup still low. You are not a project I am working on. You are not a servant I am evaluating. You are someone I love, completely, quietly, without condition. And I have been here in the exhaustion with you the entire time, not waiting for you to recover so I could be close again. Already close, already present, already aware of every moment you held it together when everything in you wanted to set it down. I saw those moments, every single one. The Sunday mornings you came when you didn't want to, the conversations where you gave encouragement you weren't sure you believed for yourself, the quiet drives home where you finally let yourself feel how tired you really were, and then put it away again before walking back inside. I was there. I am here. And what I want for you, not someday, not after you've rested enough or figured enough out or served your way back to feeling full, what I want for you right now in this moment is simply this. Let yourself be held. Not metaphorically, not as a concept to understand, but as a real and present thing. The permission to stop managing yourself so carefully, to stop measuring whether you've done enough, to stop being afraid that the person underneath all the faithfulness is somehow less worthy of love than the person everyone sees on the outside. That person, the tired one, the honest one, the one who showed up here today not entirely sure why, that is the one I came for. Rest is not a reward you earn after you've given enough. It is something I offer now, here, to the heart that is worn and wondering and still somehow present. You have been so faithful for so long, and faithfulness was never meant to hollow you out. It was meant to be the overflow of a heart that knew it was loved. And when it starts to feel like something else, like obligation, like identity, like the only language you trust, that is not a sign of your failure. It is an invitation back to the place where love began, back to the quiet, back to simply being mine, not because of what you carry or what you offer or how long you've held on. Just because you are, that is enough. It has always been enough. And if something in this conversation stirred something in you, something you've kept quiet for a while, I want to give you a moment to honor that. If you feel moved to give through super thanks, that is a beautiful way to let this kind of space continue reaching hearts that need it. There are others out there carrying exactly what you've been carrying, and your generosity helps this message find them. If you'd like to leave a comment, even a single word, even something you can't quite fully explain, please do. This space holds what you bring to it. If you haven't yet subscribed, you're welcome to. There's a growing circle of quiet, honest hearts here, and you belong in it. And if you want to go deeper, membership is a way to walk closer in these conversations together. But more than any of that, thank you for staying. Thank you for letting this reach the part of you that needed it most. You are not forgotten. You are not too tired to be loved. You are seen,